Picture two men working in the same corporate office. Let's call the first man John. John is a nice guy. He comes to work early. He never argues in meetings. Whenever a coworker needs help, John drops everything and says, yes. He remembers everyone's birthday. He always smiles, and he avoids conflict at all costs. John read Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and he uses it as a checklist to be the most likable man in the building. He believes that if he is nice to everyone, the universe will reward him. Then there is the second man. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus is polite, but he is cold. He does not care about being your friend. He does not cover your shifts. But when Marcus speaks to the CEO, he listens with a terrifying, calculated focus. He knows exactly what the executives want to hear. He praises people, but only strategically, to lower their defenses. At the end of the year, a massive promotion opens up. Who gets it? John, the nice guy, is completely ignored. The management gives him a pat on the back and leaves him in his cubicle because he is too useful as a workhorse. They like John, but they do not respect him. Nobody respects a doormat. The promotion goes to Marcus. Why? Because John read Dale Carnegie to become a sheep. Marcus read the exact same book, but he used it as a tactical manual to become a wolf. Welcome to the TEDUY operating system. Today, we are looking at the most famous book on human relations ever written. But we are stripping away the weak, feel-good illusion that society has attached to it. If you use the principles of influence just to make people like you, you are playing a losing game. You have taken a weapon of mass influence and turned it into a welcome mat. The elite man does not use charm to make friends. He uses it as a tool for social engineering. He smiles to disarm. He listens to gather intelligence. He agrees to infiltrate the mind. To master this system, you must first accept a brutal truth about human nature, a truth that society is too polite to admit. Every single person on this planet, from the janitor to the billionaire CEO, is addicted to their own ego. They do not care about you. They do not care about your goals, your struggles, or your brilliant ideas. They care almost entirely about themselves, their pride, and how important they feel in this world. The amateur, the nice guy, enters a room and tries to make everyone see how smart he is. He talks about his own achievements. He argues over trivial facts just to prove he is right. He fights for the spotlight. And in doing so, he triggers the ego of everyone around him. He creates resistance. The elite man operates differently. He operates in the shadows. He understands that the ego is not something you fight against. It is a currency to be traded. Dale Carnegie wrote, "The deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important." Read that again. It is an urge. It is a hunger. It is a biological vulnerability. If you want to control a situation, you must become the supplier of that drug. When you sit at a negotiation table or when you are dealing with a difficult boss, you do not fight for dominance in the conversation. You give them the spotlight. You make them feel like they are the smartest person in the room. You feed their desire to be important. Why? Because when a man's ego is inflated, his guard drops. His critical thinking shuts down. He becomes intoxicated by his own perceived power. He starts to view you not as a threat, but as an ally who recognizes his greatness. You are not lowering yourself by letting them win the conversation. You are stepping out of the line of fire. You are letting their own ego blind them. while you maneuver behind the scenes to secure the actual objective. Control the ego, and you control the man. The amateur walks into a room and talks to prove his worth. He pitches his ideas, he brags about his accomplishments, and he fills the silence because he is terrified of it. He thinks that by dominating the conversation, he is displaying power. He is dead wrong. In any tactical environment, the person who speaks the most is the one who is bleeding the most information. Dale Carnegie's rule is simple. Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. The nice guy reads this and thinks his job is to become a free therapist. He nods, he smiles, and he tries to show deep emotional empathy. The elite man reads this and understands its true, terrifying power. Weaponized listening. Listening is not a passive act. It is the most aggressive form of intelligence gathering you can deploy. Basically, when you ask a targeted question and then completely shut your mouth, you force the other person to fill the void. And because we already established that humans are addicted to their own ego, they will gladly take the bait. They will talk and talk and talk. And as they talk, they are handing you the blueprints to their mind. If you listen coldly and objectively, they will reveal everything. They will complain about what stresses them out, giving you their fears. They will brag about their new car, giving you their insecurities. They will tell you exactly how they want to be treated, what they value, and where their blind spots are. You are not listening to be a good friend. You are listening to map the battlefield. You take all of this data, you lock it away, and you wait. When the time comes to negotiate, to ask for the promotion, or to completely outmaneuver them, you do not use force. You simply use their own words, their own desires, and their own fears to guide them exactly where you want them to go. They will think you are a genius. They will think you understand them better than anyone else. But the truth is, you just let them build their own cage, and then you quietly lock the door. Stop talking. Start extracting data. The weakest men in any room are the ones who have to shout to be heard. They rely on job titles, aggression, and direct orders to get things done. But direct orders create immediate psychological resistance. When you tell a man what to do, his ego automatically wants to rebel. Dale Carnegie presented a terrifyingly effective solution. Let the other person feel that the idea is his or hers. The amateur reads this and thinks it is about teamwork and sharing credit. The elite man reads this and recognizes it for what it truly is: inception. The ultimate form of control is invisible. When you need someone to execute your plan, you do not force them. Force creates friction. Instead, you use the intelligence you gathered through weaponized listening. You use their own ego as the fuel. You ask a series of calculated, strategic questions. You guide them down a very specific mental hallway. You let them connect the dots themselves. And when they finally arrive at the exact conclusion you planned from the very beginning, you do not take the credit. You smile, you step back, and you congratulate them on their brilliant idea. They will now execute your plan with absolute loyalty, extreme energy, and zero resistance, because they believe they invented it. You have turned an opponent into a pawn, and they are completely unaware that you are moving them across the board. This is the apex of the TEDUY operating system. You are not reading these books to become a better friend. You are reading them to understand the machinery of the human mind. The nice guy dies exhausted trying to please a world that does not respect him. The elite man stays quiet. He feeds the ego of his targets, extracts their data, and maneuvers them from the shadows. Stop trying to be liked. Start taking control. If you are ready to drop the nice guy illusion and step into the dark side of influence, type "I command the room" in the comments. Welcome to the TEDUY Brotherhood. Subscribe to the channel, destroy your weaknesses, master the game, and stay cold.